I very audibly, for the first time, heard God speak to me. And I was just flooded with the most immense, amazing feeling of love I'd ever experienced in my life. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give you a chance. I had been trying to quit smoking for a while, and it did not work. I never knew that you could become addicted to marijuana to the point that you would have withdrawals. And I was at the point where I was having withdrawals and I could not handle it. It's something that I knew that I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. And I was like, you know what? If you could do everything, if you really are who people say you are, take this away, take the addiction away. If you could actually do it, then do it. And I went out to the balcony to smoke, and it was different that time. I felt different. And as soon as I was done, I knew that I had to get rid of it all. So I went inside and I grabbed a bag and I filled it with everything I had to do with any sort of marijuana. And I heard the Lord tell me to go to sleep. So I threw it away. I went inside and I went to bed. And when I woke up a few hours later, the addiction was gone. He had completely taken it away from me. I had no withdrawals, and I was completely shocked. I was blown away.
So as I was coming to church and that chisel was hitting the stone in my heart, and that just slowly kept breaking away, I still hadn't fully made the choice to follow Jesus. And it's kind of hard, that step of faith, to fully believe in something 100%, even if you don't know it. And I had even read the Bible all the way through, but there was another day. I mean, it's always in the car, but I was driving home, and as I had pulled into my parking spot at home, I was just sitting there and I was thinking about the service and how everything's been making me feel. And I was sitting there, I was like, I been coming here for, at this point in time, it had been about a year. I was just kind of coming, not even every Sunday, but most Sundays, and I had been reading the Bible. I had gone about halfway through it, but I had said, it's been a year. I either need to fully give myself over to Christ and 100% believe in Him and what He's done for me, or I needed to, turn another path, and the other path just didn't seem right to me. It didn't feel right. And so what I did was, at that moment, I decided, I am going to believe 100%. I'm going to devote myself 100% into the faith.
The next morning, I was just sobbing. I was having a panic attack. I didn't know how to handle it on my own. And I kind of just looked up, and I didn't know how to pray. I felt ridiculous when I had tried. I was like, okay, so I'm just sitting here just talking out loud to the sky. This is weird. And I feel so uncomfortable doing this. But I kind of just looked up, and it's like, if you did it with the weed, you could do it with this. I can't handle this. I need you to take this. I can't do it. I can't handle this myself. And I went to bed after a little bit. And when I woke up, my chronic anxiety was gone. I didn't wake up with my heart racing. I didn't wake up with my mind racing and overthinking. And it's gone. He took it away from me completely. And that was the moment that I decided that I was like, okay, I will give you a chance.
And so I went inside and I got on my knees and I started praying, and I didn't even know how to pray. I had done small prayers at this point in time, but I had not actually been committed in my prayer. And so it's kind of funny now when I look back at how much it's evolved, but I had introduced myself to God. Each time I prayed, I told Him who I was, and I know now that He's always known who I am, but I felt like I had to introduce myself each time because I had not been there for Him like He had been there for me. And as I did that, I introduced myself, I introduced my family, my son, and I just kind of asked for His forgiveness. I asked Him, I told Him I didn't really know what to say, but I had to start talking to Him. It's so funny looking back at my prayers now. I just kind of talked to him as I would any other person. And that, I think that was the biggest part of my evolution to him, is because, he just wants us to be his friend. He just wants us to love him and talk to him and be there with him and let him into our lives and to change us for the better. Because, the path we're on without him is empty, and it doesn't have a lot of meaning.
I went from there and I got a Bible and started reading, and that was really the journey. And I was very hesitant at first with anything to do with churches still. And we started going to some, and we went to a few different ones until we finally landed here at Bridgepoint, which has been such a blessing and exactly where we need to be. But over the last few years, he had shown so much grace and so much caring in how he's there with us all the time. There's no doubt about it. There are situations that are impossible to have handled, and he completely handled it.
And your life may not dramatically change when it comes time and you give yourself to him and you fully believe, but it does become full. I'm still doing the same job. I still, doing the same kind of things. I go work, I play, I have the same kind of hobbies, but, no longer am I riddled in drugs and alcohol or going out and fighting with people or just doing bad things in general. But my life has dramatically changed because I have him with me. And as I look back at those prayers, and introducing myself to him, he was introducing himself to me and coming into my heart and my home, and it's completely blessed me. And my heart is just 10 times bigger. And it took me a lot of time to learn what he's had to say. I've had to forgive not only the things that I've done and express those to people and share my story with them, but I've also had to continue to learn and forgive.
Being able to look back and see all the different things that he has done even before we were saved, all the different ways he kept me alive and saved us out of different situations. I cannot express how grateful I am and how amazing the Lord is in everything that he has done for us.
With God, all things are possible, and he has completely changed my life. And I look back now and I wish I had known him my entire life. I always knew he was there, but I wish I had introduced myself to him sooner. It may have been 27 years for me to get to this point, but I'm glad it didn't take me another year, because who knows where I would be if I had not found him. There's
not really any other better feeling than knowing that the God of all creation of the universe loves you and is on your side and is there for you. And the amount of stress and weight that was taken off my shoulders as soon as I laid down at his feet, that I'm not in control, I am not responsible for anything that happens, which is a very big thing in the occult and the New Age, that you're responsible for everything. You're responsible for your manifestations, for everything happening. The entire weight of the world and everything was on my shoulders, and if something went wrong, it was my fault. And to know now that that is absolutely not the case is absolutely amazing, and one of the amazing gifts that he gives, and that peace and love and joy is better than words can ever describe. Dedicating my life to the Lord and the relationship with him was the absolute best decision I ever made.
I'm so grateful that I turned to God and that I have his loving hand holding me and walking me in his footsteps. And I'm definitely never going to be perfect ever, but at least I know that he's there for me, and that I have the opportunity to be with him and to love him. And when I do fail, he'll be there to pick me back up and brush the dirt off my shoulders and tell me that I'm worth it, because he loves us.